Hey guys, this is the Lucky7DX, and welcome to my sub-special video. At this point, you guys are probably watching Mario Kart because I'm going to do Grand Prix while I'm answering the questions that you guys asked. But at the same time, I haven't actually recorded that yet, so I have no way of viewing this because I'm like, you know what? Well, I'm not going to do a Grand Prix. Actually, I'm going to do versus mode, and I'm going to just do matches for as long as this video takes me because I really have no idea how long these questions are asked. You guys came out, asked a ton of questions, so I really have no idea how long this video is going to end up being, or if it's even going to be in multiple parts or not, so I'm going to sort of record first, then assess and record Mario Kart as accordingly. But thank you all for asking questions. I was going to sort of have a system here, but I was like, you know what? Screw the system, screw the rules. I have green hair, little Kirby reference, lol lol lol. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to read from the oldest question to the newest question. So I'm not going to really mention who asked the questions, just because I don't want people to feel judged for their questions or anything like that. But if they're your questions, I'm sure you know it's your question. So, and well, there are some that were just they're the same questions, so I'll just answer that one time only. I don't need to answer questions multiple times. But no one broke the rules. No one broke the rules. I like that. You guys are good. You guys are awesome. Didn't break any rules. I like that. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and start at the bottom of my little comments here. I have it on my screen at the moment. Not on your screen, on my screen. And we'll start from the top. So the first question I have on here is, do you have plans to do Kirby Mass Attack? I'm not going to comment on that, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll give like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We'll see you there. But I'm not going to answer that outright, because that's cheating. But, maybe. Maybe. Anyways, I will say this. I did finish Kirby Mass Attack last week. I actually played through it, and I finished it last week, and it is a very great game, so I do recommend it to everyone. Anyways, let's go ahead and do the next question. This is actually a complicated question. What would you recommend for a new LPer starting up is pretty much the question. And that's a complicated question. What I recommend, well, as you guys know, I have done mostly emulator stuff, and it is a lot easier, in my opinion, to do that. It's free to do that, so you can kind of like warm up doing that, if you want, because it can be free to do it. Emulators are free. I mean, there's the whole, like, whether a gray area ethical ROM stuff, but I do own all the games I play, disclaimer there. So I'm not, like, ripping off money from anyone, technically, because that's not cool. People make the games and they're really cool, but that's not anything to do with this question. So it's not a bad idea. I mean, you can get that. You can get Cam Studio. You can get Windows Movie Maker. You can get Audacity. They're all free. They're all completely free, like no strings attached. And that's really, I mean, as long as you have a good headset to record. And I got my headset for like $20, my first headset. And honestly, I should probably get a better headset now that I can afford it. But that's really all I needed, like just the headset. And even then, I started off using my computer's built-in microphone because it was good enough. I mean, granted, it's not the best idea. A headset is recommended because you sound better, but I mean, you can just start free. Just try your luck and see what you like. In terms of style stuff, well, I guess just some general LP advice. I tend to like my videos between 13 and 18, 19, 20 minutes. I mean, obviously things have gone longer because I try to like make it sections more than the time. But that's always a good length at the start. Maybe if you're newer, maybe shorter ones, because if you don't know if you can get people's attention for that long. Start short, go longer for later, because it's just, I mean, just because, shorter videos, people are more apt to watch your whole thing, and thus, get attached to you as an LPer. One of the most important things I think I can recommend, is to not try to copy anyone else. Like, don't go in there being like, I'm gonna be just like Chugga Conroy, or I'm gonna LP just like Slim Kirby, or I'm going to LP just like Lucky7DX. Like, no, you have to do your own style, because it has to be you. You have to throw your own way of doing things out there. Like, my way is just like talking nonstop, turning off my brain, and just blibber blabber blibbering in every which way direction, and it works. It's me, and that sort of shines through, and that draws people to you. When you're being someone else, it shows. People know, maybe not consciously, but they can subconsciously sort of detect, oh, he's sort of being fake, and people don't generally like that. So, really my biggest advice is just be yourself. Be confident. Just go out there and talk. That is another thing, though. Personal things, I don't really like having a lot of dead space, as you guys know. I mean, you can have not nearly as much blah 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 as me, but, I mean, massive amounts of dead space, probably want to cut that out, try to at least be talking most of the time, or saying stuff. Another pet peeve of mine, really, people are back and forth on this, but I don't like reading dialogue. I like reacting to dialogue. I like my LP style being reactionary. So if you want a kind of style like that, I don't know, I think it works better. But, it's really hard to give advice, because LPing is about being yourself. It's all about personal preference. I can't really be like, hey, do these things, because maybe that's not you. Then I'm trying to make you more like me, and that doesn't really work. So, my best advice, be yourself. I guess my second best advice, ask for, other people's opinions on stuff. My first LP, Oracle of Seasons, there we go, that's what I'm trying to talk about. I uploaded, the first 7 episodes. I didn't like my style. I didn't think it was good. I scrapped it. First 7 episodes of Oracle of Seasons, even of the new version, the one that is still up there today, I don't really feel like I found my style until 7 or 8 episodes, even given that. It was a lot better than the first takes I had, because the first takes I was not really trying to be me. And stuff like that. And then also quality, take the time to edit your videos, make sure take Cam Studio and you record only the screen. Don't work. Okay, one big thing you should never do as an LPer on emulators. Don't show anything that's indicative that's an emulator. A, it sort of jars people out of the whole experience. B, no one really cares what's on your desktop. Just in general, don't do it. I don't like to really point out, hey guys, I'm on an emulator. I feel like it breaks the whole experience. So that is one of the big things I don't think you should do. Just show the screen. Only the screen, nothing else. But otherwise, it's not that hard. You just put a little editing into it. Put some effort into it. This isn't something you just be like, blah, and throw up on the internet, because then it's just throw up on the internet, and no one really cares about internet barf. They want good quality, so put some effort into it, be yourself, and who knows, it might work. So it's not for everyone, but, as long as you just be yourself, it works. So that was a long one. I wanted that to be a long one. I wanted you guys to really get a sense of what I think as an LPer. It's good advice. It's a good question. Definitely like that question. So I did want to go over that one in a lot of detail anyway. So based on how long that one took, this is definitely going to be a long recording session. Anyways, where's the next question? Have you ever played Minecraft? Yes, a little bit on the computer. I don't know what Minecraft 3D is, so I probably haven't played it in 3D. I don't really like Minecraft that much, to be honest. I played it for a little bit. I was like, hey, this is cool! And then I just kind of got bored. Because, I don't know, sandbox games, okay, ones that are more side quest and plot-driven, like Skyrim, I can go with, but, ones that are just, pure sandbox, I get bored after a while. I lasted longer at Terraria. I did last a lot longer at Terraria. I played that for a while. Even then, these days, I don't play anymore. I'm just kind of bored of it. So, I played it. Not my kind of thing, really. Do you have a 3DS DS/DS Lite and /or DSi? I have a 3DS. It's nice, shiny, the aqua marine blue thingy-mabobber I'm holding in my hand right now. Freaking love this system. It's so cool. Boy, do I wish I could record 3DS games. Please, Nintendo, please. I have a DS. I have a DS Lite, but I do not have a DSi/DSi XL because I didn't really see any need to get it. And I don't regret not getting it, so I don't have the DSi line, but I have all the rest of them. So that's that question. Next question. What got you into Let's Playing? I watched LPers for about a couple years before I started doing that. NCS, Koshmar, Slim Kirby, those are the top 3 that come to mind that I really watched a lot of. And I still watch a lot of Slim Kirby these days. Not really that much of the other 2. I only really watched a couple LPs of Koshmar and then NCS. The thing about NCS is I like him. I think he's a really great guy, but just lately his stuff has just not really been that great for me. But they sort of got me into it, and during one summer I was actually working back at the university I used to go to, and because I had a job over there, a summer job. And I kind of was just by myself, and I was like, what can I do? And I was like, let's just try LPing. Why not? I'm all by myself. It's a good time to start trying. And it turned out it worked. It turned out I liked it. It turned out people wanted me. And it was kind of cool because I was kind of shy back then. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something where I can just sort of get myself out there and be like, people judge me. And I've been a lot more confident since then. So, it's part I just want to try, and part I want to try to just, get my voice, find my voice, and it's gone pretty well. So, between all that, I was like, hey, let's try being an LPer, and it's worked out. I really freaking loved this hobby so very much. So, it was destiny, I suppose, or something cheesy like that. How did you meet Van? If you guys don't know Van Dance, a.k.a. FiyahKitteh, she's the person I am with on TMG. We partner LP stuff on there. Funny thing, she contacted me because this is kind of the next question actually by the same person is how was TMG created? I can kind of talk both of these stories at the same time because back then there was this little known channel known as LP Sanctuary, which was the old TMG in a sense. It was Van on her old account and a bunch of other people who didn't really end up going to TMG. It was just me and Van who brought TMG into existence. But there was an LP channel over there, and she invited me to join because she actually found me through surfing some people's subs, and I was the coolest one that she could find. And I was like, you know, you lot seem pretty cool, and I decided to join. Things didn't really work out though. The group dynamic didn't really work, except me and Van are pretty good, but the rest of the group dynamic just really wasn't that great, so it just sort of fell apart. And me and Van still wanted to do a co-op channel. We were like, you know what, we really want to do this co-op channel. We decided to start fresh. We made TMG. The rest was history from there. So I guess that's sort of the meeting of Van. So yeah, Van was the one who found me, not the other way around. Kind of interesting. But so far it's been great. We're very great friends and all sorts of shenanigans, because I like that word. I think that's good enough for that question. Anyways, next question. Actually, how far? I'm kind of curious. It's been 11 minutes so far, holy shit! Anyways, do you like or have ever played Sonic and or Ratchet & Clank? Sonic, I've played like one or two of the 2D games. I have Sonic Advance. Well, I'm a handheld gamer, you guys know that. That would be an interesting game to LP, except I suck at Sonic games, so I'm not really a Sonic person. If you want to talk Sonic, go to FiyahKitteh. She knows all about the whole Sonic-y thing. But I did play a few of the 3D ones. I played Sonic Heroes. I thought that was good. I played Shadow the Hedgehog. Yes, you know what? I actually can accept Shadow the Hedgehog. That was actually a decent game in my opinion. Because, you know, whatever. Shadow Guns, you know, it works, whatever. I played Sonic 06. And I've never played a Sonic game since then. Apparently, that game is just abysmal. Oh my god, it deserves all the flack it gets. I mean, I recognize that a lot of other good Sonic games out there, but I've never been a Sonic fanboy, so I never really got into it. Never played a Ratchet & Clank game. Well, I think I played one of them, but I don't even play that much, so me and Ratchet & Clank, meh. I just never really got into that game series, so nope, haven't played that. What's your favorite game of all time? Oh boy, there are a lot of choices there. I guess, well, my favorite game series is definitely The Legend of Zelda, and my favorite game of that series is Skyward Sword, so I think I might go with Skyward Sword, because that game was amazing. Runners-up series, Phoenix Wright is also a great series, but I wouldn't say they're my favorite games. Another really great game that I've really enjoyed lately, and it's probably within my top 3 right now, is Kid Icarus Uprising for the 3DS. That's definitely my favorite handheld game at the moment. So I'd say Kid Icarus Uprising or Skyward Sword is probably my favorite game. Other interesting runner-ups for the handheld, The World Ends With You was an amazing game. I would LP that, except that it is pretty much impossible for me to LP that at the moment, just because of the control scheme and the things that you need to do with the DS that you can't really do, that I can't really do and record properly. So, can't do that yet, but it's a great game. I recommend it to all of you. But Skyward Sword and Kid Icarus Uprising fell a little higher than those ones. So, yeah, I'd say those are the ones that come to mind at the top of my head. What game systems you have, it's supposed to be, but I don't think you're supposed to use a contraction when it's in a question. But what game systems you have? Okay, well, I guess I can go about my history of game system stuff. So, I started off with a Game Boy, so I actually started off with a handheld. Soon after, I got a Super Nintendo. So, I'd never got Nintendo. Nintendo and me never were friends. Got the Game Boy Color eventually. Went from the Super Nintendo to the N64, so I didn't get any of the Sega games as well. Nothing before Super Nintendo either, on the consoles. So it's really Super Nintendo and Game Boy to Game Boy Color to N64. So that's sort of like, early days stuff. Oh, I got PlayStation. I got a PlayStation in between that. So I got PlayStation, then an N64. Played those about evenly. Got the PS2 because it came out first. And because of that, I never got the GameCube, which is something I have always regretted because I do kind of like the game. I mean, there's games in the GameCube I really do regret not playing as they came out. I've gone back and played most of them, but even so, I kind of wish I had the GameCube. But I had a PS2 for a long time instead. That was pretty cool as well. I obviously upgraded the Game Boy to the Game Boy Advance, and the Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color to Game Boy Advance to Game Boy Advance SP, and then obviously from there to the DS, and I've already mentioned DS, DS Lite, 3DS. The consoles, I got a PS3, and then soon after I got a Wii, because I just decided I wanted the Wii better. It's easier to take to college, it's more fun to take to college in my opinion. And from there, I shall hopefully get the Wii U. So, that's sort of my system history. I'm trying to think, is there anything there I missed? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So, yeah, I think that's it for game systems. Never got an Xbox, never cared, never really gave a shit. So, Xbox and Sega never really got along very well. But that's all for now. Next, would you do... Okay, there's kind of like a few of these questions where it's like, would you do a game not on a handheld console? Why do you only do handheld games? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so story number one. I did intend to do console games originally. For those of you who are like really old fans, I actually tried LPS Jumping Flash very briefly, and it didn't really go anywhere, so, because it just didn't work out very well. So I did try to do console stuff. Then... I was going to do console, but I was for a year, I was recording my dorm. You can tell I'm a little quieter in those videos. And I didn't really want to commit to console recording while I was in my dorm, because I had the Wii out in the common area. Didn't really want to go ahead and bother with that. So I didn't really do the whole console thing. I didn't want to do the console thing then. And by that point, I was so into this whole DS phase that I didn't want to like change it up yet. Like, I do have a Dazzle. I do want to do console games eventually. But the thing is, okay, so there's two reasons. A, I love the DS as a system. I think they're great games, and they're really underrepresented games on there. So that kind of works in two favors. Because A, it's really nice being able to LP them and being able to get videos out there for you guys, for people who don't really get DS walkthroughs. Because DS games tend to be something, for obvious reasons, because they require a ton of editing work that most LPers shy away from. So because of that, I'm like, hey, I could bring these quality DS things out there. It makes me different. It gives me a niche, which is important because, in a sense, this is a business and all that. So, sorry, I got a little distracted. I heard noises behind me. It's a business and all that. So, in the end, you are trying to get subs. You are trying to get more views. Trying to make a little bit of money if you get a partnership. And the DS games do bring more people in because they are under LP. You don't have big LPers like Slim Kirby and Chugga and NCS doing DS games. So it's kind of like the trick for LPing. I should have mentioned this back before for the advice for LPers. You want to find... the thing is, if you play an over LP game, you're not going to be found. There are so many other good LPs out there of most console games. Name all the mainstream stuff I have. The Galaxy games, the Zelda games, Kirby games. There are so many good LPs out there already that, you're one fish in a giant sea of fish. And, people are going to probably not find you. And that's the problem a lot of LPers have. The whole LPing thing on YouTube, it's an extremely oversaturated market. There are so many LPers, and there's only just so many games that people are really, super duper interested in seeing. So this whole DS thing, it's kind of my niche. It's kind of my way of being different enough. Because the other thing is, if you play games that are just completely vague, no one's ever even be looking for them. So who's going to look for you? You'll find a bunch of niche people, but it's not really going to expand very often. DS games I found to be actually a nice little hybrid, because there are people who are looking for DS games, but because of how unique it is, or how different it is, there aren't really that many videos out there. So that's kind of why I've stuck to handheld DS games, because they are highly underrepresented. Also, I'm a very big fan of handheld. I do have a lot more time in the DS. I mean, for 4 years in college, I mostly played handhelds because the console stuff was reserved for multiplayer, and it was out in the common room. I kind of wanted to stay in my own room while I was studying, take a little break, play some DS. It's a lot easier than walking all the way out there and playing Wii. So for a while, I pretty much played handheld DS games. So I have a large collection of that, a lot more time invested into DS games, a lot more knowledge invested into the DS games. So that's why I tend to gravitate more towards those, both because, on a business end, they are really good on, getting content out there onto YouTube. It's really nice to be able to present games to these guys and have really good LP, not to be arrogant, have really good LPs of these games out there where really there hasn't been that many great LPers who have touched this zone of LPing. And, I'm just happen to be a handheld gamer in general. Now, that being said, I probably will do console games. I mean, eventually I'll run out of ideas for the DS, and there are some console games I'd like to do. There's questions coming up about which ones I would do, so I'll mention that later. But basically, there is what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say, guys? I don't remember. There are console games I want to do, but for the moment, I'm going to stick for handheld for a little bit longer. I hope you guys really don't mind. It's kind of my niche. It's kind of my thing. It's what I've gotten famous for, and it's still moderately famous for, in a sense. So I do want to kind of stick with my shtick for now. But console LPs aren't ruled out forever. They will. I will eventually. I'll probably try to get like a console and a handheld game at a time, and I will eventually move on to the more popular games. Like right now, my goal is to get a niche, get a base established, and it's pretty close to already reaching that goal. And then, once that happens, once you are big, you can pretty much LP whatever you want, because people will just notice you, because you already have a loyal fan base. It's establishing a base that you need to find a niche to really dig into and get a grip on, the whole LP meta, whatever the heck you want to call it. And I'm still, I'm still establishing my niche, I suppose. And there are a lot of DS games I want to do. There are a lot of DS games I really want to do over console games. But eventually, I will. So that's my story for that. Hopefully, you guys got the gist of that. That was kind of a bit of a long question. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I?